Welcome to Tales from the Fandom, a podcast that brings a special guest out of the multiverse and straight to you. And now your host, David Ginsburg.
Welcome to Tales from the Fandom, the podcast that brings a special guest out of the multiverse and straight to you. Today's guest is known as Jessi Rizer. She is a law school student. She also does princess parties. So she's a lawyer and a princess. And she has been in the cosplay world for a few years, as well as going to several conventions. Welcome to Tales from the Fandom, Jessi.
Thank you very much, David.
So, how would you describe fandom?
Well, I think the definition of fandom encompasses so much more than just having an interest in or being a fan of a particular thing. To me, it refers to not only to that, but also to the sense of camaraderie that exists among a community of people who share a love for something, be it a movie, a book, a TV show, or whatever. It's really about that bond and that community, I think, or at least that's what it means to me.
Okay. Well, it means something to everybody. And I know everyone has their own take on it. What are you into? Like, as far as it, like, specifically something, the ones that draw your interest the most?
Well, as you kind of already alluded to, definitely Disney is my favorite fandom, my favorite thing in the whole world. But I also, appreciate a lot of other things. I love Star Wars and Harry Potter, the DC and Marvel comics. But again, the thing I'm obviously most passionate about is Disney.
Okay. What is it about Disney that is the thing that, like, what draws you to Disney in particular?
I just love everything that it stands for, good triumphing over evil, hope, compassion. All of the characters, there's something admirable about every single one and something to aspire to. So I think that's probably the main thing that draws me to Disney. But I could probably go on and on all day about everything I love about them.
All right. Were you I imagine just like everyone else in America, you grew up on Disney movies.
Absolutely, yes. My favorite was always The Little Mermaid, but again, I love all of them. I got into cosplay before I even really knew what it was because of that movie. I probably wore my Ariel Finn more than I did regular clothes when I was little, and I would always, I would put on the movies and I would, act out all the scenes and sing the songs. I was definitely grew up on Disney, that's for sure.
My mom always used to say that I watched Pete's Dragon so much that she knew all the songs, all the words of the movie because when I finished with Pete's Dragon, I would rewind the tape and start it over again.
That is exactly what I would do too. My goodness, I'm sure you're probably really excited about the Pete's Dragon movie that's coming out this week, or I guess today, right?
Today, yes, as we record, the movie did come out today.
That's awesome. So
So
I'm sure
I
you're really excited about it.
I was excited. I'm excited about it. However, I'm disappointed because I tried to get my kids to watch Pete's Dragon, the original one, and they made it about an hour. I didn't realize how long it was, but they made it about an hour before they quit on me. I know that they're gonna like the new Pete's Dragon because I'm sure it'll have like more action and stuff going on in it to keep their attention. And that's going to disappoint me because I want them to like what I like.
Oh, I mean, how old are they? Maybe they're just not quite old enough yet.
Yeah, they're 7 and twin sixes.
Okay, so I mean, they maybe don't have the attention span for such a long movie yet, but at some point, I'm sure they'll appreciate it. But yeah, I understand. My stepson and I watched Aladdin a couple weeks ago, and he was like, I mean, he liked it. He was like, oh, it's okay, but it's not my favorite movie. I was like, disappointed because I want him to love it too. But again, he's preteen, so he might be at the stage where he's that maybe isn't cool, or I don't know. But
Right.
anyway, no, but I understand where you're coming from.
So with Little Mermaid, what is it about that movie in particular that when you were a kid or even now draws you to it?
Well, I love her, of course, her spunkiness and her bubbly personality, how perky she is. But what I think I love most about her is her persistence and the fact that she wants something more. She has this dream of becoming human, and she will stop at nothing to make that happen. She's very persistent, very driven, and I really admire that about her.
Absolutely. I think one of the things that I really enjoy is even when she loses her voice, she's able to just communicate to the audience so much.
Exactly. Yeah, she's very animated, very expressive, and you never wonder what she's thinking, even when she can't speak.
Yeah, it is. It's such a great movie. I do remember that at the time, my parents, when Little Mermaid came out, they were not interested in letting my sister and I watch it because they were familiar with the original Little Mermaid tale from Hans Christian Andersen,
Right.
and they were like, "No, we're not gonna go take you to see that." But then I think over like when it came out on videotape way back in the day, uh, they had read a review or had found out that it did not have the Hans Christian Andersen dark version, basically, and it was a happier tale, and then we got to see it.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, definitely, definitely wasn't what they were expecting, and it's definitely very different uh, than the classic fairy tale, which I love too. But Disney's version is a little happier, a little maybe better for small children.
Absolutely. There's no like Ariel throwing herself off a cliff or however she ends up in Hans Christian Andersen's version.
She throws herself off of the ship and dissolves into sea foam. But then is offered a chance at heaven because that was one of the things that her mother spoke to her about when she was little is that humans had souls and they could go to heaven after they died, but mermaids would be foam on the sea. That was one of the reasons that she wanted to be a human. But in the end, she got a chance. She got a chance at that, and I'm thinking I don't remember what exactly what she was called, but she would watch over children, and every time she would see a child do something nice or do something good, she would be that much closer to being able to go to heaven. So I mean, it's still kind of dark, but at least she didn't dissolve into sea foam.
Right. Because being seafoam is not that great. So, who else besides the Little Mermaid, besides Ariel, do you like or love from Disney movies?
Well, I really love Belle and Jasmine, and also Esmeralda. And I know she's a little bit of a lesser known character. She's not one of the main princesses, but she's actually one of my favorites and one of my favorites to cosplay, actually. So Esmeralda, she's a very strong character, very strong woman. She has a sense of justice, and she is the only one that will stand up for Quasimodo. She hates to see the way that he's treated, and she's one of the only ones that recognizes that there's anything wrong with that. Um, and she stands up for him, and she stands up for her people. And I really love how strong of a character she is. And again, I know that she's not um, maybe as popular or as well known as a lot of the other characters because she's not one of the princesses, but she is definitely one of my favorites.
And then you also liked Jasmine and Belle, correct?
Yes, I love Jasmine a lot for a lot of the same reasons. She's a strong female lead. Um, she's a little bit sassy, which I love about her. She has this sense of adventure, and again, she has a dream. She has something that she wants, and she will stop at nothing to make that happen. She's very persistent. And I love that about her. And I love the fact that Belle is, she's this intelligent woman. She doesn't quite fit in the town that she lives in, but she doesn't let that bother her, or at least she doesn't let that stop her from being who she is. And in the end, I mean, it all works out for her. I mean, she gets what she wants. She gets that life of adventure, and she finds happiness and somebody that truly appreciates her for who she is. And she's able to, kind of do the same thing for the beach. She's able to see past what everybody else sees and see the wonderful person within. So I really love that about her.
I know with Esmeralda, a lot of people really like her, but I think because of how dark Hunchback of Notre Dame was, a lot of kids didn't get the chance to either see the movie or they saw it once and that was pretty much it for them.
Right, yeah, because it doesn't it's not quite it doesn't have quite the same feel as the rest of the Disney movies. I mean, I think it's a beautiful movie. The music is fantastic. The story is wonderful. But it may not be as appealing to children because of how kind of dark it is. Actually, I mean, myself, I didn't really fully, I mean, I liked it when I was a kid, but I didn't love it. It wasn't until, I got a little bit older that I really understood and appreciated the movie as well as her character. So I definitely can understand that.
I think it's also got the same thing, like because when I saw Hunchback, I was in high school, and it's the same thing with Hercules, and the character of like say Megara. Like those two characters, Megara and
Yes.
Esmeralda, are fantastic characters, and I wish they were represented more and had more influence out there for kids and girls because they're really strong characters. But those two movies, when those two movies came out, I think they'd come off of the run of like Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Little Mermaid, Lion King, and then there's a definite kind of shift when Hercules and Hunchback were out, and I don't know why a lot of people didn't watch them, but it's a shame that especially for those two female characters that they're just not out there more.
Right, I agree with you. And again, I understand to an extent, that there was a different feel to both of those movies, but I do wish, they were given a little bit more of a chance. And I know everybody that I've spoken, or almost everybody that I've spoken to that has seen those movies absolutely love them. And actually, my stepson, both of them loved Hercules. Again, I think it's, a lot of people either haven't seen it or they just didn't get as much popularity because they came off of, Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin. But I'd love to see, eventually maybe, kind of a revival or maybe a live action remake or something to kind of spur that interest back. I do know that they are working on a Broadway a musical version of Hunchback of Notre Dame, so maybe that will kind of, re-spark interest in that and bring that back a little bit.
Oh, that's awesome. I hadn't heard of that one.
They've been working on it. I don't know. It's not there yet. I'm not exactly sure when it's supposed to hit the stage, but I'm really, really excited about it. I remember saying for years that would be such a beautiful musical. That would be such a beautiful stage show. So I was really, really excited when I heard that they were actually going to do that. So I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, especially now that they've mastered having some of their older movies in there with Aladdin, Lion King, Little Mermaid, and Beauty and the Beast have all had their Broadway runs.
Yes, and they've all been wonderful. I went and saw Aladdin a couple of years ago, and it was absolutely fantastic. And so they've done really well with that. And I know Beauty and the Beast was there for I think 12 or 13 years. So I mean that kind of stuff does really well. So I'm hoping the same for Hunchback.
Absolutely. I mean, nowadays the musicals that are out in Broadway now, there's such a range of style and variety that something like that would fit right in with what's out there now.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's something for everybody on Broadway. Everybody can go there. Even people that, say they don't like musicals or don't like musicals, I can
Hmm.
generally, you can probably find something that will appeal to them because there is such a wide range of shows available now. So I love it.
Is there any upcoming Disney movies that you're looking forward to?
I am very excited to see Moana coming out later. I'm very excited. Again, it's another princess movie, but I'm excited to see another ethnicity represented. She's Pacific Islander, and it sounds like a really cool story. With the water involved and everything. I can't wait to see it.
Absolutely, and I'm really looking forward to it because uh, the person that they have as I think it's the title character Moana is the female, the little girl, right? Or
Yes.
am I mistaken? I'm excited that she is actually represented by a Islander, or as far
Yes.
as which
Yeah. Sorry.
oh, it's okay. Yeah, I'm excited about that because it's not as if they're outsourcing it to someone who might sound like it's actually someone of that ethnicity or of that culture.
Exactly. And I don't think she's ever done anything before this movie, actually. I think this is her first, or at least one of her first
Hmm.
acting gigs. So, I mean, that's really cool. They're casting an unknown or relatively unknown person um, in the interest of um, authenticity and having somebody that's, accurately representing that character.
Right. I know it's nice to start having more inclusion of instead of just the traditional like European princesses that we're finally getting into uh, more diverse like a princess line because I know I've talked to several other people and it's nice for them to have um, people that look like them, that represent them, that they can look up to instead of wanting to have blonde hair or blue eyes, of that nature.
Exactly. Yeah. So, little girls of all different, skin colors and hair colors and all different ethnicities and races can have a princess or somebody that, they can look up to and identify with and feel beautiful, because they, oh, well, she looks like me, or, she has this in common with me. I just think the more that we can do that for little girls, because that means so much to them. The better we are. But I'm really pleased with the fact that Disney's taking steps in that direction.
As am I, especially since I live here in Orlando. I get to see everything that happens when they roll it out into the park and be really at the heartbeat of, or at least one of the heartbeats, because the other one's in California. Uh,
Oh, that's
but yeah,
awesome.
it's nice. It's nice to see like the merchandise come out and be like, oh, what's that? Like the new Princess Elena
And
of Avalor.
they just unveiled her at the park, I think last week, right?
I believe so, either last week or this week. But I saw the merchandise maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I was like, "What is that winged cat?" And I had to look it up because I had no clue that they were even doing anything like that.
Yeah, I mean that's wonderful. I think I don't know as much about her. I think she's Disney Channel. She doesn't have her own film.
Right.
Again, I've been kind of lost in everything, or maybe not keeping up on things as much as I should in the past couple months, just because the move and the internship and the transferring law schools. So but no, I read a little bit about them unveiling her, and I think it's really cool. I wish I could have been there to see it.
Now, a show that you're into obviously ties in to Disney because it's on ABC and Disney owns everything
Yes.
at this point, and that is Once Upon a Time.
Yes, I absolutely love that show.
Did you get into it when it came out, or were you like a late joiner to it?
I saw it after the first season. I caught up on it between the first and second seasons. When it came on Netflix, I watched the entire first season probably in about a week. I fell in love with
Okay.
it and have been following it consistently ever since. Um, so a little bit late, but I've been there for most of it.
Oh, that's okay. I dropped out at I watched it when it first came on, and then my wife and I watched it up until the Peter Pan Neverland story arc
Season 3.
and season 3, and then we stopped. It was a combination of just our schedules not working out and timing, and we stopped. And I've heard people, I have friends of mine who watch it from on and off, and some of them have quit, and others have kept on. What's the sense of the story now, as far as is the storylines, are they bloated or not as good as the first few seasons?
I mean, I think the first season will always be my favorite, just because that's what I fell in love with. But I think there is kind of a lot going on, and I can see how that would be um, maybe kind of a turnoff to some people. But I mean, I love it. I love how many different elements they're incorporating, and the complexity of the storyline. But again, I understand where some people may not like that as much, but I mean, I still love it, just because I mean it's a show about fairy tale characters, and the ones that I've loved, and I love the twist that they've put on them, and how they've made them a lot more real and relatable. And the whole combining the fantasy world with our world, I think is just brilliant. And I think the writing is incredible. So I'll keep watching it until it goes off.
Absolutely. I know when I was watching, my favorite character, and I always get drawn to like the smaller characters, the side characters, the friends of the group of people. So my favorite character was always Grumpy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I love Grumpy.
Who is your favorite character?
My favorite character is Regina, absolutely, for sure. I just, I love how she. I don't want to ruin it for anybody that hasn't seen it, but I love just the evolution of her character, and how much she was able to change, because she loved her son, because she wanted to. Um, she's definitely my favorite, and she, despite everything that she's been through, she was still able to turn things around, and become a good person, a hero, as they call it in the show. So she's
Hmm.
definitely my favorite.
I've heard some complaints, not about Regina as the character, but the writers with Regina as it relates to when they kind of need something to happen. It always seems to get dumped on Regina, like, oh, something bad happened. Now Regina's going to turn bad.
Right.
And then Regina's going to turn, oh, Regina's going to be good again. Oh, Regina's going to be bad again. Do you get that sense?
I did more so in the first couple of seasons. She's been pretty consistently for the last few seasons. She's been consistently pretty good, I think. But I do definitely get the sense that anytime something bad happens, it has to happen to Regina. Like at the end of this season, something terrible happened to her, and that was, I mean, that's kind of frustrating for me because I've seen how far her character has come, and how long she's been fighting for happiness, and she finally has it, and it seems like every time she has it, it gets taken away from her. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so that's, I mean, that's definitely frustrating for me, and I'm sure a lot of the other fans too. But I'm hoping that she will um, stay good this time and keep down the path that she was headed down.
Okay. Do you have an underrated character? A character that you like and you wish more people liked?
I like and I wish more people liked. I really would have liked to have seen more of Tinkerbell and Ariel personally. They were only in a couple of episodes, and I would have just really liked to see their characters develop a little bit more. I think Tinkerbell was awesome. She was sassy and feisty and um, adventurous and very strong character. But she really hasn't been around that much. I think she's only been in maybe 2 or 3 episodes. And I'm kind of disappointed about that. I wish they would have, developed her character a little bit more and let us get to know her a little bit better. But I don't know, maybe that will happen eventually. I'm not sure.
That would be nice. I know when they had, I don't know if it was the first season or the second season, they had one of my favorite actors from Lost come in and do the giant
hmm
from Jack and the Beanstalk. And I really wanted him to not be like an everyday actor, but it'd be nice to see him around town.
Yes.
Like, you see the dwarves around town. You see certain characters like in the in like grandma's cafe and stuff. And it would have been nice to have seen him, even though again he's a giant and I'm sure it takes a little bit more extra money for digital artistry there. But it would have been nice to have seen him around a little bit more.
Yeah, I agree with you. Just put him in here and there, like the dwarves at least, and have something there, get to know his character a little bit more. Again, that's kind of one of the things that people say, oh, there's too much going on, there's too much complexity, but I really like that about the show.
Did you like the Frozen storyline? Because I missed it, but I've heard good things about it.
Yes, I really, really did. I now disclaimer, I love Frozen. I absolutely love it, but it has become kind of saturated. It was very popular, and again, I do the princess party, so maybe I see it a little bit more than other people do because all anybody wants is Elsa or Anna. Um, you know, 19 times out of 20. But I actually did really like the storyline that they did with Frozen. I thought it was very clever. I thought it was perfectly casted. Um, I really did like it, even though I was a little bit maybe biased against the idea at first because I see it so much and we were so saturated with it. But I think they did a really good job. It was actually one of my favorite arcs in the whole show.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get to watch that season, but I really loved that they included it. I mean, at the time when they were writing it in, everyone was like, "Oh, really? We have to have Frozen in the
Yeah.
show." Not only is it like everywhere, but now it's going to be in Once Upon a Time. But heard really good things. I liked the casting. I mean, I love Anna. She's one of my favorite princesses of all of the Disney movies. So it is nice to see that it had good, like good ratings or good reviews after the fact. You do princess parties.
Yes, I do.
How did you get into doing princess parties?
Well, a combination of a lot of different things kind of led up to it. The first was when I was at Disney World and a little girl, and when I got to meet the princesses, Ariel in particular, that meant so much to me and made my entire life. And that kind of early on, though I didn't realize it at the time, kind of planted the seed for that. I had a girl that came to a birthday party of mine, my 7th birthday party, and she did something similar. She wasn't playing as though she was the princesses, but she came and she would like sing the song in a costume, then go change
Hmm.
and then sing another song. So that kind of, was another thing that, kind of started to put the idea in my mind. I did theater all through high school, so I have a little bit of an acting background. Um, I had some of the costumes because I'm a big nerd and I just, anytime there was an opportunity to dress up or wear a costume, I took full advantage of it. So I had a couple laying around. But I think the biggest thing was probably when I started getting into conventions and started following these cosplayers. I learned that a lot of them do that on the side. They'll do the princess birthday parties and everything. So that's kind of where I got the idea to actually do that. And where I previously lived in West Virginia, because I think I told you earlier that I was going to school there was
Hmm.
nobody that did that there, not one person, at least none that I was aware of. Because I started looking to see if there was a company maybe I could get involved with or work for, but there wasn't any. So I decided that I would just try to start one myself. And so my advertising at first was very basic. I think I put together like a little Instagram collage of myself, in a couple of different costumes and said, hey, if anybody's interested in a princess party, let me know. Um, One of my friends referred me to somebody. I did a party for them, and it just kind of went from there. Because, like I said, there was really nobody else that did it. So once somebody heard about, these princess parties, I was really the only person in the area that did it. So I um, people started to call me, and I got really busy with it. And I mean, it was so much fun.
That's awesome. I know I've spoken to a few different people about princess parties, and it just seems it's like everyone's just like, oh, you just dress up and go, but it's so much more than that.
It is. It absolutely is so much more than that. I mean, first of all, it takes about 3 to 4 hours to get into costume because, I mean, everything has to be perfect. You can't, have any, hair sticking out of your wig or anything like that because, I mean, children are a lot smarter than we give them credit for, and they will pick up on things and they will know. Um, but it's, I mean, all the time that you invest before, with planning the events and getting everything ready. And then when you show up, it's just you're not just there. I mean, you're interacting with them. You're not putting on a show. You're having a party with them. You are interacting with them, and it's very special because, like I said, I remember when I was little and I got to meet Ariel. That was so incredible for me, and to see the look on their face when you walk in and they see their favorite princess, be it Elsa or Anna or Rapunzel or whoever. That's just it's the best feeling in the world, in my opinion.
Is there, just sticking on the princess parties for a minute, is there a particular princess you like to do more than the others?
My favorite princess to play, I know I've told you my favorite princess is Ariel, but my favorite princess to play is probably Belle. Number one, she's a little bit easier. I, have brown hair, brown eyes. It's a little easier for me to do the makeup and everything and look like her. Um, but I really identify with her character, and I don't know. I love playing her. She feels the most natural to me. I think that her personality is the most similar to mine of all of the princesses. So it's just it comes very naturally to me. Her character does, and yeah. I mean, she's definitely my favorite to play, I think.
Okay. Fair enough. Especially I've talked to several people and they're like, we really try to find characters where you don't have to wear a wig on some of them because I guess for me I don't know, but I imagine wig wearing is hard or not terribly fun.
I mean, I guess for when you're not used to it, it can be uncomfortable. At the end of the day, I'm definitely ready, to take my wig off, particularly if I'm using a lace front wig, which um, has to be, glued onto your head and everything. But it looks a lot more natural than the other one. So, I mean, it's definitely worth it. But even if, I have, like I said, I have brown hair, my hair looks very similar to Belle's anyway, but I always wear a wig just because I mean, that Disney hair is so iconic, and so, I mean, real people's hair does not. I mean, mine doesn't, at least. I can't make my hair look like that. So even if I um, have hair similar to the character, I still always will wear that wig just for that extra, um, I guess. I don't know, that the extra something. But again, maybe some other people are better with hair than I am. But I always tend to wear a wig.
Absolutely. Now, you also are a cosplayer and you go to conventions.
Yes, yeah, it's a lot of fun. I've been going for a couple years now. I think my first one was in 2014, so I'm still relatively new to it. And again, I'm in law school too, so it's sometimes hard for me to get away from that. But I go to as many as I can. I most recently, and even though it was most recently, still a couple of months ago, was at AwesomeCon here in DC, and I'm
Hmm.
planning to go to New York Comic Con in October this year. Um,
Awesome.
so I'm really looking forward to that. That was actually the first one that I ever went to was New York Comic Con in 2014, and it was very overwhelming, but so much fun. And I'm really, really excited to go back. And this time, my husband's going to go with me, and we're going to cosplay together. So that'll be really fun.
Are you doing a couples cosplay or are you both going as just different characters?
We are planning to. We have a couple different ideas right now, but what we're leaning toward is the couple cosplay, a Disney couple, and then a non-Disney couple.
Okay. Is there and do you are you doing more Disney themed cosplays since obviously you did the Princess Party business, or are you branching out into other characters?
I'm really trying to start branching out into other characters because as much as I, love the Disney characters and love the princesses, I want to get out and do some more different things. I do have two, two non-Disney characters in the works right now. Um, and the one, as I said, will probably be at New York Comic Con. The other one, I'm not exactly sure when I'll have a chance to do it, but I have a couple of different photographers that I'm scheduling some shoots with. So I'm really hoping to get the other one into one of them. So hopefully I'll get to do that soon. I'm really excited about it.
That's great. New York City Comic Con, one of my friends is going, and she always talks about how tough it is to get tickets to go because there's so many people trying to get in.
Oh my goodness, that is the only thing I don't like about Comic-Con is the ticket buying process. It is a nightmare. Um, I remember this past time I was at work actually. I worked for a federal judge this summer, so I was sitting, in the office there, like at the computer, in the judge's chambers, like trying to, get these Comic Con tickets. And my husband was at home trying to do the same thing because we figured, if we both try, one of us will get them. Um, and we ended up, by the time we got into the queue or whatever, the 3-day tickets were sold out. So we were
Hmm.
only able to get tickets for 2 of the days, but it'll still be fun. And I'm sure we can find something else to do in New York City on the other day. So
There's nothing to do in New York City.
no, like it
No.
will, it
I mean,
might take us a while, but maybe we'll find something. I don't know.
yeah, I'm at least you'll be able to get a hot dog on the street.
That's right. Yeah, we'll just sit out on the street and eat hot dogs and maybe some of those roasted nuts or something. But, eh.
Now, we were talking before we started the recording, and you've had some pretty awesome like cosplay opportunities.
Oh, thank you.
And one of those was for a really popular Aladdin YouTube video.
Yeah, Jesse Wellens, Aladdin Magic Carpet Ride through San Francisco this past March. It was a blast.
And you got to be his Jasmine.
Yes, yeah, I did, and it was actually the first time I'd ever been to San Francisco. Beautiful. I actually wouldn't mind to live there one day. But it was really fun because although I was only there for a short time, again because I was there on a weekend in between 2 weeks of law school, um, but I got to see a lot of the city because if you've seen the video, you know that it's filmed in all of the or many of the iconic San Francisco locations. So I kind of got to see all of that and got a little tour of the city, as well as the opportunity to film this video with this amazing YouTuber. It was incredible.
Now I have to ask, was it scary being on the magic carpet going through the streets of San Francisco?
That is everybody's question. Maybe I'm just not as, I don't know, cautious or careful as I should be. I didn't find it scary. Now he didn't have me on his back for any of the more, challenging or dangerous scenes, where he was
Hmm.
weaving in and out of traffic. Most of the time, we were on the sidewalk or someplace where there really wasn't a potential to, get hit by a car or anything like that. Um, I didn't feel at any point as though, we were gonna fall. One time I think we kind of stumbled a little bit. I think it's actually in the blooper reel of the video. But he didn't drop me. I didn't fall. We didn't run into any oncoming traffic. So uh, I was totally fine.
Yeah, I watched the behind the scenes video, and he had asked you at one point as you're standing at the top of this huge hill if you're ready to go down it, and you're like, "Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's not a problem." And he's like, "Yeah, we're not really doing that, but I'm really glad that you're really into it."
Yeah, like I said, maybe I'm not as cautious as I should be, or as wary as I should be. But I mean, I was just so excited, about what we were doing. I guess maybe I wasn't as maybe careful as I should have been. But I trusted him, and I know that he'd done it before and he'd been practicing. I felt totally safe with him.
And you also did a photo shoot for a really popular person named Tracy Hines.
Yes, I absolutely love Tracy. She's such a sweetheart. I met her at D23 last year, and she is just like the sweetest, most genuine person ever. Um, so we kind of became friends there, and I actually had to fly back that night to start my first week of school. Um, and then I got a text from her on Wednesday, I believe it was Wednesday, asking me if I was still in the area because she was doing a princess photo shoot in Hollywood that weekend and needed a Jasmine. And I was dressed as Jasmine when I met her. So that's how she remembered that. But so I thought about it because obviously I wasn't back there, but I thought, this would be so much fun. It'd be, an incredible opportunity, so I did it. I flew out there on Saturday morning from Pittsburgh, um, landed at 10 a.m., uh, did the shoot all day, then got back on a plane at I think like 1 o'clock in the morning to come back and go back to school and everything. But it was such an incredible experience. I mean, Tracy and all of the other girls that I worked with there were just so sweet and so much fun, and it's really awesome to get to spend the day with people um, who love these things as much as I do and have as much fun with it as I do. And it was awesome.
Absolutely. And I remember when I think she's really getting popular with the hipster Ariel,
Yes.
and then just to see her go from like hipster Ariel to like this super mega popularity just from that, and getting to do so much, it's just amazing like how people are just turning their love of just being dressed up in costume into just so much more than just being in cost, like having opportunities to go to conventions and show up places.
Yeah, I mean it's incredible, and she's so talented and so creative. She's been able to do a lot. She has her hand on a lot of different things. She's not only hipster mermaid, but she is an artist, a musician, and she has music and she does music videos. She writes her own original music. She has a clothing line, Adorkable Apparel. Um, and she goes to conventions and everything like that. So she's really got her hand on a lot of different things, and she's just so creative and so talented. And I'm so happy to see how much her career has taken off because, like I remember back in, 2008, 2009 when she was, just um, somebody, I followed on Facebook and she was posting videos of herself singing Disney songs on YouTube. And, she had a
Hmm.
pretty big following then too. But, in recent years, her popularity has just exploded. And I'm really happy to see that all of her hard work and dedication has paid off because she absolutely deserves it. She's one of the hardest workers I know. So she deserves it.
Absolutely. Now, what is on your future besides obviously New York Comic Con, and now you are still continuing law school?
Yes, so I have 2 more years of law school, and I'll graduate in 2018. But I'm going to try to. I live in a more metropolitan area now than I did previously. Obviously, I'm closer to the airport, so I'm hoping that living here will make it a little bit easier for me to go to more conventions and go to more things. Um, I've bought tickets for D23 for next year. And I'm going to try to go to, if I can get tickets for San Diego Comic Con next year, definitely that as well. And it actually works out because they're within a week of each other, so I can just make a whole trip out of that.
Mm-hmm.
But any opportunities that present themselves, if I can swing it, I'm going to do it. And I'm hoping, that once I graduate law school, it might be a little, my schedule might open up a little bit, but we'll see.
Okay. And where can people find you on social media if they're listening to this podcast, like on Facebook or Instagram? Where's the best places for them to follow you?
So I do have a Facebook page. If you just search for Jessi Rizer, I should come up. And then I also have an Instagram too. It's just Jessi Rizer, JESSIRIZER.
Okay. So those are the two best places for people to go and check your Disney, especially you have a lot of Disney cosplays more so,
Yes.
at least right now.
For the moment, yeah.
For the moment, but they are pretty phenomenal.
Oh, thank you.
It's really fun to see. I know you are probably one of the best Jasmines I've seen in, I don't know. I mean, I go to the parks and some of the Jasmines there aren't the best Jasmines, but
well, thank you very much. I mean, that means a lot to me. I've been to the parks a few times too, and I love, even now, I love meeting the princesses there.
mm-hmm.
The girls they hire, they're very talented, and they're wonderful actresses, and it's really fun to talk to them as the character and just interact with them. It's a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for taking the time out of your schedule, especially with how busy you've been,
Oh.
and getting to record with me today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It was awesome.
Thank you for listening to Tales from the Fandom. Subscribe to us on iTunes or your podcast app of choice. Follow us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/talesfromthefandom to see photos, links, leave feedback, and check out upcoming guests. If you'd like to be a guest, email David at talesfromthefandom@gmail.com.